Hello everyone, my name is Landon and welcome back to another video. And in this video today, I'm going to be talking about every single Joe Hill novel ranked from worst to best. Now he doesn't have many novels, he actually only has 4 and 2 short story collections, so I'm going to be ranking them from which ones I thought were the worst, all the way to my favorite ones. Now before we get into it, I do just want to mention his short story collections, Strange Weather and 20th Century Ghosts. This is a short story collection containing 4 short novels, and this one has like somewhere around 20 or something like that. Maybe not that many. Maybe I don't think it's that many. But either way, those are his short story collections, 20th Century Ghosts and Strange Weather. This one was decent. Two of these I really liked, and the other 2 were okay. There was one that I really didn't like. I can't remember. I think it was like something about somebody who was in the war or something like that. But either way, let's get to Joe Hill's novels and let's talk about them a little. So, his worst novel, in my opinion, is The Fireman. What's funny about The Fireman is that this was my most anticipated Joe Hill novel. It was the last novel that I read by him, and I was super excited to read about it. To read it, not read about it, just to read it. And when I started reading it, I started to catch a few things, and then I kept going deeper and deeper into it, and I just kept disliking it. It's basically, let me get it. It's basically Stephen King's The Stand. Like, look at that. You see that? It's literally like he took the manuscript from his father and changed it. There was even a character named Nick in this book that was deaf and mute, and in this book there was a character named Nick who was deaf and mute, and there were also a few other characters who had the same names and the same attributes as the characters from The Stand. This was really the only huge disappointment for me. I would recommend Joe Hill to anybody, but I would probably say stay away from The Fireman if you've either already read Stephen King's The Stand, or if you ever read The Stand, you'd probably appreciate this book a lot more than I did, but since I read The Stand, it was just complete agony for me to read. Uh-oh. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have Heart-Shaped Box, his debut novel. These books are all great. The next 3 books are amazing. The Fireman was Heart-Shaped Box was actually really scary. I think it's scarier than my number 2 spot on this list, but there were a lot of great things that I loved about Heart-Shaped Box. I loved the villain in it, and I especially loved the characters. The main character, Judas, and his girlfriend in the end. There were a lot of emotional scenes in it. I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't want to ruin any of these books for you guys, but there's a lot of creepy scenes in this book, especially one at the beginning where he's like walking through a hallway, and that's all I'm going to say about it. He's walking through a hallway, and he sees something. That's all I'm going to say. It's really creepy, a really scary book. Probably, if it wasn't for the number 1 spot, this would probably be his scariest book. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Daniel Radcliffe, Horns. The reason I said Daniel Radcliffe is because he's the one who stars as the main character in this book, Ig. He was Ig in the movie Horns. If you guys don't know who Daniel Radcliffe is, he's Harry Potter. Yeah. But yeah, Horns I adored. I read it on my way home from New York. I had the light on in the back seat of my car reading it because I loved this book so much. I almost liked it more than my number 1 spot, but my number 1 spot definitely beat it after I went back and thought about both of them a lot more. There's definitely a lot of scenes in this book that really didn't need to be in there. There's a 20 to 30 page scene that didn't need to be in there, and after that it kind of kept going with it, but other than that, the beginning of this book, and especially the ending of this book, were great. There were definitely some scary scenes after he gets the horns. There were definitely some emotional scenes. A lot of the book is emotional. It's not even that long, 400 pages, almost exactly, 397, 3 pages away from 400. And yeah, emotional. It's actually really scary at some scenes, and that's Horns. And I can't recommend this book enough to anybody. NOS 4A2. or Nosferatu. This was the first Joe Hill novel I ever read, and I'm so happy. What was that? Happy that I did. This one was scary. It was like a lot of his books. They were scary, emotional, and I really felt for the characters. It was also very long. It's 700 pages long in this format. And the characters in this book were so well developed that you just really fell in love with them, and you like felt for them whenever anything bad happened to them or whenever anything good happened to them. You felt for them. You felt really good when the good things happen and bad when the bad things happen, especially the ending. I don't want to say the ending, but the ending of this book, I was almost bawling. Like this, the ending of this book is emotional, but it's also very happy. It's like uplifting, but it's sad. Like, you know those endings in movies and books and stuff like that? But what I especially love about this book is the villain, Charles Manx, and his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith. The car, very similar to Christine from Stephen King's novel Christine, very similar to it. It's like kind of like his soul, so whenever it gets destroyed, he gets destroyed along with it, but in the book, somebody finds it destroyed, rebuilds it, and then he comes back to life and starts wreaking havoc again. So he's basically like a vampire that is living off of his car, and I find that very, very fascinating. And the final battle is like a 50 to 60 page, like, mushroom trip. Like, it's so great, and then how the character, like, goes throughout the ending, like, what happens to the character, it's all just so amazing. If you guys haven't read Nosferatu and you're into emotional, scary, very impactful stories, you'll love Joe Hill's NOS 4A2. So, that'll be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. If you guys want to see more Joe Hill stuff in the future, like reviews or why I hate the Fireman, because I'll definitely do a video of that in the future. I kind of told you why, but I'm definitely going to go in more depth with it. Like, I'm going to do a Dreamcatcher and a bunch of other books. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell icon if you're new. Leave a comment down below what your favorite Joe Hill novels are, and I'll see you guys in the next one.